So I decided to do my deliberative speech on if legislation should be passed to ban international adoption cases. So who's the real villain in these international adoption cases? So first of all, policy issues. International adoption system contains flaws. There's a lack of oversight policy. Adoptions are most often conducted through private and individual agencies who have their own standard, and they don't follow a standard-wide policy or like rubric. It differs case to case and agency to agency, which is not good, especially if it's not the same across the board. Agencies are not always accredited, so they might not have the best reviews, they might not have the best process, and sometimes there have been cases where same-sex couples have been discriminated against because all across the world that's not views that everyone shares, so they're not gonna let you adopt. Another reason why we shouldn't be adopting internationally is because the emotional barriers. There's language barriers, especially like if you're going to be adopting somebody from China. They don't know a lick of English. Like there's cultural differences, how they were raised versus how someone from the US is raised. So there's definitely that like adjustment. If you're rehoming them halfway across the world, like they're gonna have to pick up on all these like social interactions, social cues, how to eat with like a fork. Like it differs culture to culture, so that's definitely a lot. Sorry. So another reason why we shouldn't adopt internationally is because there might be incomplete history, such as like birth dates, medical history, like background information, like their family, like what actually happened. So there can always be like discrepancy or something not true or just something not adding up. So that's always a possibility. There can be special health issues. They might be malnourished, or they might suffer from like a developmental disability. It really just depends like on case to case, so you'd have to be taking on that responsibility. They might have suffered abuse in the hands of foster care homes, so you have to work through that trauma, and it's a lot for the child and the adoptees or the parents that are raising them. And abuse and death in country adoptive families is common, which is disgusting. It's crazy to think about that abuse is so common. That should never be the case. But adopting internationally, it's just not good. It's not good for anybody involved. You're rehoming children from their born identities, forcing a child born in Taiwan to be raised in the US, where they had to learn all new social, all language, like all kinds of things. And why should we look across the world when we can just look to the other side of the US, where there's many children waiting to be adopted in our home country that need homes, but there are people looking across the world. It's not okay. There are a lot of children waiting for forever homes in the US, and they deserve the chance to be adopted. Especially, it is a lot less work than having to teach another child. I mean, yeah, you are doing a good thing, but really at what cost?